An invitation to crime. A crowded supermarket. A woman shopping. And as she shops, she carelessly leaves her open purse in her shopping cart and walks away. A perfect invitation to crime for someone waiting and watching. The American Association of Retired Persons wants you to know what to do to prevent crime. For our free anti-crime guide, write AARP, Fox TVW, Washington, D.C. 20049.
Are you having trouble making ends meet? Is the high cost of rent taking too large a chunk of your income? Try shared housing. For more information about the shared housing program sponsored by the cities of La Mesa, El Cajon, and Santee, call the East County Council on Aging, 442-3281.
The regular CBS Thursday night lineup: Magnum, P.I., Simon and Simon, and Knots Landing will return next Thursday at their usual times on most of these stations.
On the CBS Saturday Night Movies, MASH's Loretta Swit is a lady executive in a man's world who must learn the games mother never taught you to survive.
I don't do those things.
Sunday on CBS, will George Jefferson use his head to crack a tough case?
Oh, you need a battering ram. Quick, grab Miss Jefferson.
And on One Day at a Time, will Julie have her baby?
In the bathtub?
Then on Trapper John, Riverside is fired.
We can fight this thing. I'll get Trapper down here. He'll blow the lid off the place.
Great entertainment, Sunday.
Mike Galloway would be a top chef in any cook's book. He'd rather work in the Navy. Navy know-how. It's working for America.
This is CBS.
In our news tonight, police investigate the murder of a man found in Point Loma. His hands and feet were tied and he may have been beaten to death. And residents of storm-battered Hawaii say they weren't given enough advance warning about the approaching hurricane.
Dulzura's fire chief may be charged with responsibility for a huge brush fire. And Amira Mesa parents have good reason to give thanks. Their 3-year-old daughter, kidnapped last night, is home.
For those of us who need to jog off some of today's stuffing, tomorrow's weather should be perfect. A lot of sunshine in our San Diego forecast.
We have pro football highlights, the latest and most excessive pro football violence lately. And for Thanksgiving, hockey highlights.
Please stay with us. News 8 coming up next.
At Playco, we're ready for your holiday shopping. Our shelves are packed full of the toys your children want. Check our ad in today's San Diego Union or Evening Tribune, featuring the most popular toys at everyday low Playco prices, like Play School puzzles, just $2.99 each. Tomy pocket cars, 69 cents each. Masters of the Universe castles, $24.69 each, and more. Dolls like Brooke Shields at $8.69 or Kenner Strawberry Baby dolls, just $18.99 each. There's video games, trucks, bikes, dolls, trains, games, and more, all waiting for you at Playco, your best toy store.
A foreign land in the heart of San Diego, Bazaar del Mundo. Magical dining, lively entertainment, and shopping. Exotic and international for every taste. It's a special place. Bazaar del Mundo, 17 shops, 4 wonderful restaurants in Old Town San Diego State Historic Park. Come, enjoy it.
There's no experience on earth like the San Diego Wild Animal Park. Where in the world can you see the rare tiger of Sumatra? Families of rhino raising their young, and the cat once worshipped by pharaohs. Herds of endangered species roaming free. A harmonica-playing elephant. And a parrot singing like Caruso. Discover the San Diego Wild Animal Park. There's no place like it on earth.
30 miles north of San Diego off I-15. Happy Thanksgiving from Channel 8. Michael Tuck, Ted Leitner on sports, Clark Anthony with the weather. This is News 8.
Police investigate a murder in Point Loma. Good evening, everybody. It's 11 o'clock, and the body of a man was found earlier today inside an apartment on West Point Loma Boulevard. The victim, a 55-year-old man, was found lying face down in his living room. His hands and his feet had been tied.
About 3 o'clock this afternoon, our units responded here to cover the fire department, and a gentleman came to the apartment looking for his friend, was unable to raise him, called the fire department. They found the man dead on the floor of his apartment.
Police said the apartment was ransacked, and while the cause of the death is unknown, it appears the man was beaten up pretty badly. There are no suspects, and as yet, no motive for his killing. Tonight, the so-called mystery man of Mercy Hospital is finally back home with his family. He is Rosales J. Santos Galleta, found wandering in the streets of San Diego last month, unable to tell anybody who he was. But yesterday, his family drove up from Tijuana, identified him, and ended his near month-long stay at the hospital. Reed?
In Hawaii, Mike, the governor has declared the two islands hardest hit by Hurricane Eva disaster areas as residents try to salvage their lives and tourists their vacations. Gary Shepard reports many are angry they didn't get more of a warning.
As emergency crews worked around the clock to restore essential services here, it became apparent that the destruction caused by Hurricane Eva was a lot more serious than first believed. Authorities now estimate damage from the storm will reach $200 million, 10 times the figure mentioned only yesterday. The south coast of Kauai took a direct hit from the hurricane. Many resort hotels were virtually destroyed by the 110-mile-an-hour winds. Hundreds of homes were demolished. Many residents and tourists alike are angry that local civil defense authorities didn't give them adequate warning of the approaching disaster. This man, who lost his entire house, calls it a disgrace.
The sirens went off at 12:30 when the waves were sweeping across my house, and we didn't have time to get any valuables or anything out of my house.
It's a place that's not geared for emergencies. And I think the thing that bothers me is there was no forewarning. And other places, say in Florida, they know a week or so in advance that a hurricane is approaching.
Civil defense officials argue they did the best they could.
You look at the satellite weather maps and you can see how this thing just mushroomed almost out of nowhere in less than 24 hours. So we
reject these charges that there wasn't adequate warning.
Well, it's just, you know, there was as much warning as anybody could humanly give.
And even today, despite the emergency, airlines were still bringing in new tourists.
But as far as how bad it is here, we didn't know.
Did they tell you there's no electricity and probably no telephone service or drinking water?
Once we got on the plane.
Authorities say they plan to ask President Reagan to declare this a federal disaster area, and they admit it could be months before this island fully recovers from the impact of Hurricane Eva. Gary Shepard, CBS News, Kauai.
The Navy today released the name of the sailor killed when a huge wave washed over his ship in Pearl Harbor during the hurricane. He was 20-year-old seaman Joseph Cantu of Wilmington, California. Cantu was slammed against the lifelines, his neck broken. 4 other seamen aboard the guided missile destroyer Goldsboro were also injured. Last month, a critically injured boy was being rushed to Mercy Hospital in a medevac ambulance which ran out of gas. Today, a trauma surgeon said the delay had no effect on the boy's condition. The victim suffered brain, chest, and stomach injuries when he was hit by a car riding his bicycle. He finally arrived at the